They're running against me. Some of them, like Carly, are very low in the polls. I hope she goes up. I'd like to see her go up, actually, but she's very low in the polls. Lindsey Graham, all these people that came out, they're running against me, Jake. They're running against me. I would say it, too, if I was at 1% or 2% or 0%.
Donald Trump on CNN's State of the Union Sunday, characterizing most of the recent criticism he's received from candidates who are running against him. Of course, the Donald made headlines after an exchange with Fox News debate moderator Megyn Kelly. It prompted national outrage from several groups, including some conservatives. Trump continued lashing out against Fox News on Twitter. You can take a look at it. He says that he is innocent. For more on this whole brouhaha, let's welcome in Foster Friess, founder of Friess Associates. He Skypes in tonight from Wyoming. And also joining us, Jennifer Burke, who's in Mesa, Arizona, the co-founder and editor-in-chief of Politistic.com. So, Foster, how would you characterize the message that Donald Trump is conveying? Is it conservative in your mind?
Well, I think the thing about Donald Trump is we have to take the Christian approach. As a Christian nation, we were taught to hate sin but love the sinner. And so the few times I've been with Donald Trump, I admire much about him. The success of the Friess Associates Money Management was a team of 70. 70 became successful because we built on people's strengths and ignored people's weaknesses. But Donald Trump was definitely wrong early on when he denigrated John McCain. You know, I love the Philippians verse, always consider other people more important than yourself. But that's why Jesus invented forgiveness. And so Donald is Donald, and we need to honor him for who he is. And I think he brings a lot to the table because he's honest and forthright. He drives the thought police crazy. But I just think if we're going to...
Fair enough. Understood, Foster. It's the truth spoken in love, but also in the Old Testament, Nehemiah said, build the wall. And Jennifer Burke, that's what Trump has been talking about. Is that why he's resonating so well?
You know, I think that's a large part of why he's resonating so well. The left and some on the right tried to get him to back down from statements that he made regarding illegal immigrants and his desire to build a wall to protect America. And people latched onto him because they were thirsty for someone to fight for an identity for this country, which is what we fail to have with the incredible influx of illegal immigrants that are coming across the border every single day. And I think that's why, despite all the things that he said that have led people to believe that he would drop in the polls, he hasn't, because people find it refreshing that he's not backing down from his fight. There are not many people fighting for people like Kate Steinle in San Francisco, who was killed by an illegal immigrant, and Donald Trump is the one person giving them a voice.
Well, Foster, the guy you support, Rick Santorum, has talked tough on immigration, but he just doesn't seem to be gaining the support. I know it's a long way to go, but if Rick were to drop out of the race at some point, could you support a guy like Donald Trump?
Well, I'm not going to deal with hypotheticals. I'm just going to stick with what a winning solution is. And I think people will remember soon as the campaign goes forward that Rick Santorum was probably the most likely person to win, because when he ran for Senate in Pennsylvania, he won twice with 1 million more registered Democrats against him. And yes, Jennifer, the immigration issue is important. And Rick has said he not only wants to reduce illegal immigration, but he thinks there's too many legal immigrants taking jobs away from American workers. And as you know, his book, Blue Collar Conservative, talked about the 74% of Americans who haven't graduated from college. And where would we be, Jennifer and JD, if we show up at 1 o'clock at night in the hotel, there isn't that person of service, or put our bags on the plane at 5 in the morning? These are the people who make our country great. And I think more people understand that Rick is cheering for them. But more importantly, Rick is probably the most knowledgeable about the biggest threat our country faces.
Right. He's just got to get that message out. And Foster, you're doing a good job for him. But I need to go back and talk about what happened in the debate and thereafter, Jennifer. Some folks were saying it was clear Fox had a vendetta against Trump. Do you believe Fox made a conscious attempt to try and knock Donald Trump out of the race last Thursday night?
Well, you know, it was interesting, JD, because even in the debate prior, and what was dubbed the happy hour debate, the candidates were asked a question about Trump. I thought that was interesting. And it was rather antagonistic. I mean, they were the debate moderators. It was planned out. I don't think Megyn Kelly went rogue or anything in the questions she asked, but he did get a lot of airtime. Whether they went after him because they knew it would be good for ratings, who knows? But you could say on the one hand they went after him, but on another hand they gave him a heck of a lot more airtime than they did many of the other candidates.
Jennifer, Ferguson, 1 year ago yesterday. You're an African-American conservative. We saw another shooting there last night. What do we get out of Ferguson +1 in the wake of what happened there last night?
You know, I wish the Black Lives Matter movement, which is the big movement driving in Ferguson, would take the passion that they have and use it to make a difference within their own communities. I get frustrated just as an American, and especially as a Black woman, to see people like Michael Brown. He was no angel. Did he deserve to die? No, he didn't. But the narrative that they're pushing, that they're using to this day to push this hatred and war on police is simply not true. And as long as they can't accept the reality, they're never going to make any kind of positive impact because they're pointing the finger outward at everybody else instead of looking within their own communities at the issues that are happening. Yesterday, they roasted a pig, deemed it Darren Wilson, and carved it up and ate it. What kind of message does that send?
And we will have to leave it right there. Jennifer Burke in Mesa, Arizona, Foster Friess in Wyoming, to you both, you have our thanks. You heard what they had to say. Where do you fit in on this? Why don't you let me know at newsmaxtv.com/comments.